Hey everyone, we're extremely sad to have missed D23, but we've been working very hard on the next Deadpool film for a good long while now.
I've had to really search my soul on this one.
His first appearance in the MCU obviously needs to feel special. We need to stay true to the character, find new depth, new motivation, new meaning.
Every Deadpool needs to stand out and stand apart. It's been an incredible challenge that has forced me to reach down deep inside.
And I have nothing. Yeah, just completely empty up here and terrifying. But we did have one idea. Hey Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
Yeah, sure, Ryan.
Welcome back everyone, Maximum Effort. This will be my Deadpool 3 teaser for Wolverine coming back. This is huge news. They just confirmed Hugh Jackman returning as Wolverine in like a Deadpool versus Wolverine, or Deadpool and Wolverine. Probably not them fighting each other, maybe a little bit of fighting each other, but probably more of a team-up movie.
Mild shock.
I'll explain what's going on with this because the really cool thing is that Ryan Reynolds said that before the big Disney buyout, they were actually planning for Deadpool 3 to be a Deadpool Wolverine movie with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. If you're brand new to the channel, I'll be doing videos for the movie just like I do for all the other Deadpool films, so be sure to subscribe to get them. The teaser he released here obviously just meant to be very tongue-in-cheek, like, oh, you know, we meant to make this big announcement at D23, but sorry we missed it. I think the reason why they waited on that is because they were, one, waiting for the ink to dry on some of the contracts, like actually just working through the deal to get Hugh Jackman back. And they were already making a bunch of really huge announcements, even though it would have been cool to find out about this during the big D23 panel. I've already done a separate video about all the really big stuff that they announced in some of the teasers, so I'll link those at the end of this and down in the description too. Love the way that he's actually talking about working him into the MCU while he's wearing the costume from Deadpool 2, like the very ashy, torn up looking costume. I think one of the reasons for doing that is to let you know that it is going to be the same Deadpool from the Fox X-Men universe, like it'll be more of a multiverse character. Or my idea actually early on, it was kind of a funny idea, was that they would just say that he'd been in the MCU this whole time and wouldn't really address it in a big way. Like that'd be one of the big jokes of the movie, is that he's been in the MCU the whole time and nobody noticed until now. You notice during this are a couple little Easter eggs for a lot of his other businesses that he has in real life separate from his acting. Like he's wearing the Wrexham hat, he pours himself some aviation gin, which is his gin brand. He's got his Deadpool mug. It does seem weird to be drinking gin out of a Deadpool mug. Little while with him on the can, wearing the Deadpool costume. If you can't tell, zoom and enhance, that's a Marvel comic book that he's reading on the can, so it's all part of the joke that he's trying to look for ideas for the actual movie. But the bigger joke here is that he says he's been spending all this time trying to figure out what to do with the movie, but he can't think of anything. He's like, I have nothing. I can't figure it out. So the joke is that they went to get Hugh Jackman to come back because he couldn't think of a decent movie without Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, just completely empty up here and terrifying. But we did have one idea. Hey Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
Yeah, sure, Ryan.
Also love the idea that he's either hanging out in Hugh Jackman's house like he's broken into Hugh Jackman's house, or he and Hugh Jackman just went off into the woods to stay together for a while. When he said that, Ryan Reynolds was like, do you want to play Wolverine one more time? I don't know if that means literally just one more time, because I think we were expecting Hugh Jackman to finally come back as Wolverine in the MCU during Avengers 6 Secret Wars just because of all the multiverse stuff happening in that movie. I think the difference with Deadpool 3 is that he'll be like a really big part of the movie, and during Avengers 6 Secret Wars, he might just be like a small part of that movie, like a cameo level part of that movie. They explain that some of the Marvel contracts with actors work a little bit different. Like when you hear about the actors signing 6-picture contracts with Marvel, they actually differentiate what kind of appearance it is based on how long they're in the film. And if they're not in the film for a long enough duration, it doesn't actually count against one of their options. So like I said, Deadpool 3 meant to be a lot of Wolverine in the entire movie. It's not just like him showing up at the end as some sort of joke. And when they reveal the release date is September 6, 2024, in a couple of years, They used the Whitney Houston song, but as I Will Always Love Hugh, and they actually put him in the title. But the funny thing about the logo here, like they have Wolverine's claws through the Deadpool symbol, those were actually a lot of the fan logos that people were releasing the last couple of years when we were crying for them to bring Wolverine back in the MCU after all this Deadpool news happened. One of the other big things that's happening during this phase is that they are going to have a lot more mutants, a lot more X-Men characters running around in the MCU by the time the film comes out. So there'll probably be a lot of those characters in this movie. Like there'll be a lot of X-Men mutant characters because Deadpool, Wolverine, both mutants, X-Men, like literally X-Men inside the MCU because Hugh Jackman, of course. But this is still meant to be way before they release their next full-blown X-Men reboot movie. Because of him coming back in the MCU, I also kind of wonder what this means about them doing a version of Wolverine with a different actor. Like, do they always want it to be the Hugh Jackman version of Wolverine? Or will they follow up on Logan and pass the torch to X-23 because there's the whole timeline question there? That's a Deadpool joke in and of itself. These timelines are so confusing. We just got Ms. Marvel canonized as a mutant in the MCU. They used the X-Men the Animated Series theme song during her episode when they revealed it, and they also confirmed that Namor is going to be a mutant in the MCU during Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So they're like the tip of the iceberg, even though technically Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver and her children, Billy and Tommy, are kind of mutants already. I did a video about Deadpool coming to the MCU a while ago because during Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness, they had all those X-Men cameo scenes. The writer of Doctor Strange 2 also said that he was going to have a post-credit scene with Deadpool at one point. It would have been like the funny second post-credit scene instead of that Bruce Campbell post-credit scene with him breaking the fourth wall, kind of like Deadpool looking at his hand, joking about the Evil Dead movie series, because those are also Sam Raimi movies. There have been a lot of jokes about how they were going to bring Deadpool into the MCU, how they would address it. Like, wouldn't it be funny if Deadpool just showed up in the MCU during Deadpool 3 as if he'd been here the whole time in the MCU? Is it going to have something to do with the incursions, the Secret Wars teaser, and the Doctor Strange 2 post-credit scene? The writers were just saying that they actually had to work all those details out before they actually wrote Deadpool 3. A long time ago, Kevin Feige actually wanted to bring Wolverine in a cameo scene during the first Captain America movie. He was going to have a Hugh Jackman cameo as the Wolverine character, but the whole idea is that he hasn't become Wolverine yet. Like, he doesn't have the adamantium until much later in the timeline. And it's because the character was actually born in the 1800s, so he lived through all these different wars this whole time before he joined the Weapon X program. At the beginning of Wolverine Origins, you see one of the wars he's fighting in is World War II. His big cameo scene during the first Captain America movie was going to be in the scene where he goes to rescue all the POWs in the Howling Commandos. Hugh Jackman's Logan was going to be one of the characters that he rescued. I've talked about this in the past, but they've already laid a lot of the groundwork for introducing Weapon X into the MCU. Like, they have a version of Weapons Plus already. Weapon X is part of that, or a bit of a spin-off of that. The other cool thing here, for those of you that want a Hulk versus Wolverine movie in the MCU, I don't know if they're ever actually going to do that, but it sounds like there's a lot of World War Hulk stuff happening between Captain America 4 and the Thunderbolts movie. Like, there's a lot of Hulk-related plot. Those movies would be a really good time to introduce a concept of MCU Weapon X, because both Captain America 4 and the Thunderbolts movie will be coming out right after Daredevil. The cool thing is it'll also probably cross over a little bit with the Daredevil Born Again episodes, depending on when that premieres. So 2024 is going to be a banger year for Marvel movies and Disney Plus series. And they actually revealed this completely separate plot for a totally different Deadpool 3 movie that they would have made had the deal not gone through and Marvel not gotten the Deadpool character back. They said that when they were going to do Deadpool 3 at Fox and it was just going to be its own little solo movie, they were actually going to do a road trip as a Deadpool and Wolverine crossover movie. That's right, everybody wondering if they were ever going to do a Deadpool-Wolverine team-up with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, it was actually going to happen during that Deadpool 3 movie. And even though the Logan movie came out right around that time and killed off the Wolverine-Logan character later in the timeline, also the Patrick Stewart Professor X character from those original X-Men movies from that same line of continuity. But everyone post all your theories in the comments below. What do you want them to do with Wolverine as a character, just as a concept in the MCU after the Deadpool 3 Wolverine movie? If it really does wind up being Hugh Jackman's last actual film. Their only option after that would be to use him in like one-off cameos or to completely recast a version of the character, which means that the Deadpool 3 version of Wolverine would have to be the multiverse version, like the version from the Fox X-Men universe. They already canonized the Fox X-Men movies as being in the same universe as the Fox Deadpool movies, like they had that big crossover scene to let you know, oh, this is all happening in the same Earth. So at least for now, I'm assuming that the version that Hugh Jackman plays in Deadpool 3 will be the same version of Wolverine we've been watching this whole time, just a little bit earlier in his timeline. You have to remember the events of Logan took place in a distant future. So like we haven't actually gotten to the period where that takes place. So that means that there are all these adventures that they could have with him before that. And that's how you bring him back without having to completely undo the events of Logan. I'll do a bunch more videos about it as we get more news and more teasers. I'm sure Ryan Reynolds will be dropping more funny videos like this, just hinting at what's going on in the actual plot. With any luck, we'll get Hugh Jackman inside that yellow Wolverine costume. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss anything. Everyone click here for my House of the Dragon Episode 7 video, and click here for my new Secret Invasion trailer video and all those D23 announcements about all the big Marvel movies. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe and maximum effort.